You would think that getting a job at a coffee shop would be a fun, easy summer job, right? That's what I wanted to believe. However, things aren't always what they seem, and I learned that the hard way when I got a job at the coffee shop from hell. It was my sophomore year of high school, and it was my first day of my new job at a coffee and ice cream shop called Cafe Dolce. I remember being in the car with my dad, and he looked at me and he could tell I was nervous, and he said, "What's the worst that could happen?" A lot, apparently. Little did he know he was foreshadowing my own doom. We arrived and my dad gave me the good old-fashioned pat in the back and said, "You're gonna do great, sweetie." And I walked in with high hopes, but the second I saw my boss, I already knew I didn't want to be there. He was a short, intimidating, angry-looking Italian man that didn't crack an entire smile the time we were there, and gave me a handshake so firm I thought he was trying to break my arm off. He handed me my apron, gave me a very brief tour of the store, and asked me if I was ready to start, and I said yes. Just by looking around the store, I already was really overwhelmed. This was not any ordinary coffee shop. This cafe not only sold every type of coffee and tea imaginable, but gelato, boba, acai bowls, pastries, sandwiches, snow cones, and I realized that I would have to learn how to make all of it, and I began to get really anxious. I was bound to mess something up, and the last thing I wanted was to get yelled at on my first day. Luckily, he started me off easy with making snow cones, and it was a little difficult at first, but I got the hang of it fast. Next, he taught me how to make all the different boba flavors on the menu, and again, I wasn't a natural, but I knew everything would get easier with practice. He briefly taught me how to scoop gelato the proper way and how to ring up the 2 different sizes on the register, and I was excited because the next thing I knew I'd already learned how to make 3 things. Little did I know, however, that everything was about to take a turn for the worse. My boss muttered something about having to take care of business outside, and the girl I was working with said that she needed to take her break, and so I was left in the store by myself. I started to panic as I realized I only knew how to make 3 things on the menu, and all I could do was pray that nobody came in the store before my boss came back. Lo and behold, though, of course people started to trickle in and ask me to make things that I didn't know how to make yet, let alone I didn't even know how to use the register yet. And all I could do was calmly look at them and try to explain that they could wait off to the side until my manager came back and he would make it for them because it was my first day. About 10 minutes passed by. I'd already messed up a boba order twice, gotten yelled at for giving a customer the wrong amount of change, and made many more customers angry by telling them I didn't know how to make what they had ordered. I was on the verge of tears. I had no idea what I was doing, and all I could do was keep looking at the clock and telling myself that my shift was almost over and I could go home soon. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, my boss came back and he helped me serve 2 more customers, and I ended up doing it right because I had his help, and he told me that it was time for me to go home. He asked me if I could come back the next day at the same time and finish my training, and I said yes before running out of the store and running back to my dad's car and breaking down into tears, telling him that I was never coming back. And yes, the next day I did text him and told him I was gonna quit. Since then, I can thankfully say I've had much better jobs, but that one scarred me so deep that no matter how hard I try to forget it, I can't. All I can say is make sure your future employer treats you well and fairly and doesn't leave you alone unattended in the store on your first day so that you don't have to go through what I went through. Bye!